Hey y'all, it's your girl J to J. This is episode 5, An Unlikely Suspect, and y'all can see all in my kitchen, but that's okay. That's okay. Nothing that you could track me down or anything like this. Let me check. I think I'm good. Alright. Anyway, so this is episode. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. I hope you're ready to get into this long review. It'll probably be long. I apologize. So let's not waste no more time. Let's get into it. Okay. So now I just want to tell you that my camera shut off. So I'm starting from the beginning, but that's okay. We're going to keep it pushing. Okay, so we open up with Alex, okay? Remember last week, she saw a deer in the road. She swerved. Bam, she hit the tree. Okay, so that's what we were. We come in. She's getting out the car, not a scratch on her. And she's like, oh my God, because she knows the car is totaled. Okay, so she's getting out the car, and then she goes, I need my phone, which was kind of like, why didn't you just get the phone real quick? Because how the car hit, the phone most likely fell on the floor, or it maybe slipped into the dashboard, but it didn't, fly through the window. So, but maybe she was just scared, because the car did end up going up in flames, so maybe she was like, oh, maybe when I put my hand in it, the car might light up. So she was just like, I need my phone, and she was panicking. She was like, no, I need. And then she was like, oh my God, and then she starts walking away, because she knows the car is totaled, okay? So then actually they do the little introductory song. We go to commercial. We come back. We're at the crime scene, okay? So remember, Kelly's forcing Marcy to go and tell Steven what the heck is going on, which was really nothing, but I guess it was. So she goes, Detective Simmons, it's Steven. I would have just been calling him Steve. Like, what up, Steve? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah, come on over. And he's like, oh, what is it? And she goes, Marcy has something to tell you. She goes, it's really nothing. And then so he's like, come on, everything is something pretty much. And so she goes, well, I noticed that he has some mud on his boots. And he goes, well, tell me about this mud. Like, I was so annoyed by him. Just, well, tell me about, oh my gosh. Anyway, so he's like, tell me about this mud. And he goes, was it under the shoes? Was it on the sides? And she goes, it was on the sides. And he goes, huh. And what color were the boots? They were like a tan, brown color. Huh. And what kind of boots were they? Oh, they were hiking boots. Like, oh, shut up. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You're not really, there's nothing. So, huh. Oh, really? It was just like, shut up, Steven. Just please. So then he's like, and what color was the mud? She goes, it was red. He was like red clay? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, I thought that was weird because I seen him earlier and he had on his work clothes. So I thought it was weird that he had on like these hiking boots, because at one point he was like, what kind of boots were they? And she was like, I did find that weird. And he was like, and where did he say he was again? And she was like, oh, Bandit Mountain. And he goes, what time was it? And she gave him a time. But he was like, well, that couldn't have been true because Bandit Mountain closes at 9 o'clock. And she was like, I didn't know that. She was like, so he lied to me? And he was like, I don't know, but we're going to find out. And so it was just all these things. And then she goes, see, like I told you, it might have been nothing. And he goes, we'll be the judge of that. Like, I'm getting so tired of Steven. You're watching Law and Order, Steven. You're watching Criminal Minds. And that's where you're getting this from. I'm over you. Okay, so then, and how this scene went, there was a lot going on in just one scene. Okay, so I'm going to try and finesse it a little bit so it doesn't go too long. Okay, so Esperanza comes up. And she's talking to Kelly, and Kelly's like, oh, snap, girl, what are you doing here? And she's like, girl, they needed me to ID some photos. She was like, yeah, they just wanted Marcy to do the same thing. And she like, oh, for real? So then we have Steven goes up to Eddie's police car, because Eddie's fake ASS is still there, and he's parked and all this. So Steven comes up, because he's about to get in the car to drive up to Brad's address. And he sees Eddie, so he goes, oh, snap. He goes over to Eddie. He's like, Eddie, what are you still doing here? He goes, why wouldn't I be here? Or something like that. He's like, I'm an officer. He was like, Eddie, didn't I give you a direct order? He was like, no. He said, I told you to go to Bandit Mountain. He was like, oh, that is right. I did hear something about Bandit Mountain. But you didn't tell me what was going on here. He goes, Eddie, this does not concern you. He was like, look, Steven, I really want to help. But he's just so fake. He's like, he keeps it real, but he's fake. And so he's like, I just want to help. And so Steven is like, then you can get up there to Bandit Mountain. He's like, what do I need to go up there for? He was like, look, I need you to secure some forensics. I need you to secure the perimeter. Nobody gets in, nobody gets in. He's like, look, man, can't you just send a rookie up to Bandit Mountain? He was like, no, I'm asking you to do it. And he was like, man, come on. He was like, all right. He was like, just go, Eddie. He was like, come on, man, I'm trying to help. And he was like, you're way too close to these people, into the situation. He was like, Steven, this is Maxine. Everybody is in everybody's business. Everybody knows everybody. And he was like, Eddie, go to Bandit Mountain. He's like, all right, man. He's like, I'm serious, Eddie. Come on. He was like, can I put the key in the ignition? Fake. And so Steven's like, all right, I'm watching you. He was like, go ahead. He was like, all right, boss, fakery. And then so he waits for Steven to get in the car, and then he just sits. I think he called him a punk or something. He just sits there. And then this was where it got weird, y'all. Like I tell you, all the dudes on the show could be gay except for Lucian. Because then Eddie's sitting there, and this is what I'm talking about. There was a lot going on. This officer, Rick, I'm over him, is walking past his car, right? So Eddie is like, hey, Rick, like, what's going on here? And he was like, Eddie, man, I'm not supposed to say nothing or whatever. He was like, come on, man, we're on the same team. Y'all, I know that's a saying, but in this scene, it was looking gay. Let me just keep it 100. Okay, because then he goes, oh, we're on the same team. And then Rick does this thing. He's like, the same team? He was like, man, I heard about your team. It just was very... Are we talking about what I think we're talking about? Because remember, last season when... Sorry, I'm still getting over my allergies. Last season, when Andrew was at the hospital, Eddie came up to the desk and he was like, Andrew, what are you doing here? Andrew was like, I'm working night shifts. And he was like, you're definitely not ready for Team Eddie. And he was talking about, because he knows he does the drug trafficking and all this and third. Not trafficking, but he ain't that far up. But just does his little fake BS, give me half of what you got, blah, blah, blah. So remember when Andrew was trying to fake get in there so he can get in some, the details, and Eddie was like, you're not ready for Team Eddie. Now that was just like, okay, you're not ready for Team Eddie. He was just being a dirtbag. But this scene was reading gay for me. Like, I don't know, because it was just, I don't know. But he was like, you're not ready. No. He goes, we're on the same team. And then Rick goes, the team. And Eddie's like, yeah. He was like, come on, man. Just tell me what's up. He goes, well, they have a suspect. He was like, a suspect? And he was like, there's a suspect? He was like, for what? He was like, the kidnapping of Randall Holmes and the baby. So he goes, and who's the suspect? He goes, Bradley Montgomery. He was like, Bradley Montgomery. He was like, huh. He goes, do you know him? He's like, nah, Eddie, he lied. Which, okay, because that's your friend, whatever. He goes, no, I don't know him that well, but he goes, yeah, man, well, he's like the prime suspect right now. They're supposed to be coming for him and this, that, and the third, and just giving up everything. And then he goes, okay, but why does Steven want me to go up to Man the Mountain? He was like, man, that's the only lead. We think he might have buried the bodies up there. And I felt like he asked a dumb question. He was like, dead bodies? Really? I mean, he could have buried them alive, but I feel like it was just dumb on his part. Like, dead bodies? Like, really? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm over it. So he goes, yeah, man, he probably got the bodies up there, so we about to go up there. Now, this is where, okay, so he walks and he goes, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. And Rick gave Eddie, like, this stare. I don't, like, he was, are you admiring my beauty? Like, it was just, I don't even know, like, in all its essence. Okay, I'm over it. Anyway, ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, we're over it. Okay. So as Rick walks away, Esperanza comes up to his car. And this for me is just why. I mean, because, okay, that's your baby father, so there's always going to be a connection because you have a child together. But I just wouldn't address you. And my thing with her is, okay, so he told her, remember this was late season 2. He told her he had a drug problem, right? So you're not going to do nothing. Like, I'm not, because you can't force somebody to get help, especially a drug addict. I mean, yeah, they have to actually want to. But the fact is, as soon as he would have told me, it's not even about whether I got love for you or not. This is about you out here making me look bad. And my daughter, she might be going to school and they talking about, oh, well, I heard your father was a cracked out, fake ASS officer, and so she has to deal with that at school. As soon as he would have told me he had a cocaine problem, you better believe I'm taking you to the rehab today, mother effer, today. You ain't got no choice. It's not about being in love, because even if she still is in love with him, and I think she overdoes that too. It don't matter if you're still in love. That really don't matter. Once you can still be in love with somebody and just realize that they treat me like nothing and I'm over them. I still got love for them, but we ain't getting back together, and I'll be danged if they know I still love them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what? That means nothing. I can still hate you, but there's some love there. That's just how it works. You don't have to know. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway. So, she goes up to the car, and she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh my gosh. Because he knows all they do is argue. That's it. So, she goes up to the car. He's like, oh my gosh. She was like, what are you still doing here? He was like, I'm an officer, I'm supposed to be here. She was like, why? And she was like, he was like, look, I'm just trying to, he's like, look, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. And she was like, why? Since you don't care. He was like, now you know I care about my job. He was like, that hurt my feelings. I was like, please die. And then so he goes, I'm an officer. She goes, you're a disgrace. And she's like, you need to get up out of here. And then so he's like, something, what the heck is going on here? No, she goes, are you in on this? And he was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, you and Brad, what did y'all do? And he was like, what are you talking? And again, she gave him, like, he already had information, but you giving information. Like, it was weird, because it's like, in the same scene, they'll go from an argument to having a low-key conversation, but then it goes back to an argument. Like, it's like, what the heck is, I don't know. The dynamic between those two is weird. It's a lot of chemistry there. It's actors, I can tell, because how they work, but it's really annoying. As far as, if we're arguing, then we're arguing, not an argument, and it's a low-key conversation, because I'm kind of giving you intel, and then we're back to it, like, what the heck is that? Anyway, so, she goes, what did y'all do? And he was like, what are you talking about? She goes, you and Brad. He was like, Brad? She was like, yeah, Brad. He goes, what about him? Like, try to act like he didn't really know nothing. And she goes, well, he's the prime suspect. He goes, says who? She goes, we have an eyewitness. He said, who's the eyewitness? And again, you gave, she goes, it's Miss Louise. And he was like, that's Randall's mother, right? And she was like, yes it is. And he was like, Brad is my boy. Pretty much telling her, like, I'm going to cover for him. And she was like, look, what did y'all do? She was like, because I know Brad did not do this alone. He was like, look, I'm going to tell you one more time. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she was like, listen. I know you had something to do with this, and if you did something to that baby and this, that, and the third. He was like, babe, I don't know what you're talking about. Like how he tried to do his BS to deter from a serious He does it on purpose because he knows she's going to pay attention to it. Them little fake ASS flirtation thing that he does out of nowhere. Oh, he was like, what your sweet ASS got on, and this, that, and the third, and you my baby mama, I always got love for you, and we're always connected, and all the BS, because he knows she's going to pay attention to it. I wouldn't pay attention to SHIT coming out of his mouth unless he's being serious. Because then at one point, she goes, I hate you so much. And he goes, it's a thin line between love and hate, baby. And then she just walked away. And then he was like, we're always connected because we have our daughter. I got nothing but love for my baby mama. And she gives it energy, though. Because he does that because he knows you're trying to be serious and he's not trying to be serious. So just leave it alone. Like, as soon as he would start doing that, I'd be like, okay, I'm walking away now. You going to ask me what I got on under my skirt? Are you kidding me right now? I would have just, if anything, if you're still going to stand there, which I would have just walked away because, okay, this mother effer's clowning. But if you, I started to get him. I said, this mother effer's clowning. Anyway, if I roll up on you, I'm trying to talk to you, you start with the bullet, oh, babe, can I come over tonight and this, all that? Okay, I'm about to walk away because you're not trying to be serious. If you still do want to stand there, you want to ignore those comments and just be like, I'm being dead serious with you right now and you clowning, but I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? So didn't really appreciate that on her end, but he was like, yeah, babe, I don't know what you're talking about. All this, And then he was like, she was like, I swear if something happens to that baby. He's like, baby. And he was like, you keep talking about this baby. And then he was like, what you got on it? Just all the BS. And then so she walks away. So then we switch to Brad, right? So he's cleaning wait a minute. Yeah. He's cleaning the wound. That Marcy hit him upside the head. So he put in some alcohol on a napkin, some homemade alcohol, and he's rubbing it out and it's burning and whatever. So Eddie calls him. So he's like, Eddie, it's late. That's the first thing he says. He's like, man, I'm on a burner phone. We're good. He was like, okay, good for you. And Eddie was like, what's with that attitude? And then so he goes, man, it's late. He was like, I know, man, you got that adrenaline pumping. And he's like, Eddie, what the heck are you talking about? Because that's how you got to be with a friend like Eddie. Just what are you talking about, man? So he's like, man, just tell me where the bodies are at, this, that, and the third, He's like, what are you talking about? He was like, Randall and the baby, man. His mama said that you attacked her, attacked Randall, took him, and took the baby. And he was like, what? He was like, Eddie, I don't know what you're talking about. Stop playing around. Like, I'm about to hang up. He was like, dude, I'm serious. He was like, oh, snap, that makes sense. Marcy hit me in my head with a bottle. And he was like, oh, so, man, she knows too. And he was like, knows what? And he was like, come on, man, just tell me where the bodies are. If they're abandoned out and I can go and I can dig them up on whatever. And then he's like, man, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. He was like, yup, digging graves takes a lot of work, doesn't it? And he's like, Eddie, what are you talking about? And he's like, man, stop playing. Tell me where the bodies are. He was like, man, they're going to be there in like 7 minutes. He said, due to my calculations. I said, Tyler, kill him. Ain't no duty. You can't calculate. Eddie goes, due to my calculations, they should be there in 7 minutes. Die. So then he goes, meet me at, what'd he say? Meet me at 19th Avenue and 7th. And my GPS says I'll be there in 14 minutes. He was like, Eddie, I'm going to lay down. I don't know something. He was like, Brad, stop playing, man. I'm telling you, they coming for you. And he was like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Pretty much saying like, okay, but I didn't do anything. So what are they going to do? So he's like, all right, man. He was like, I didn't do it, Eddie. Like, what do you say? He was like, good. That's good, man. Keep that up. I believed you. He's like, Eddie, I'm serious. He was like, man, keep that too, because that's good. He was like, Eddie, stop. He was like, man, don't you understand? It don't matter if you did it. They put people away for less things, and they didn't even do that. And he's like, look, Eddie, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to bed. He's like, come on, man. Meet me at 19th and 7th. And he goes, he was like, I'm not coming. He was like, man, be there. He's like, I'm not coming. And then he hung up the phone. Sorry, you guys. It was just like, man, I told you I'm not coming, so just hang up. I would have been clicked off on. I'm over it. So, I mean, I guess I don't really appreciate how Tyler tries to do that. We just try and give us the nice side of Eddie. What is it? Trying to look out for your friend? We're over him. Still. Then we switch to Marcy. Marcy, Essie, and because they're calling her Essie for these past few episodes. That's alright. We have Essie, Marcy, and Kelly. They're, still sitting at Alex's house. And so Brad is calling Marcy. So Kelly is like, don't pick up the phone. And I think Esperanza, I'm not sure. I think she said, no, she should pick up the phone because this might be the only time he calls her. So I don't know, something like that. Like, she might want to see what's going on. And then Kelly's like, she's right or whatever. So then she goes, I think I'm going to be sick. And Marcy gets up and runs to the bathroom. I don't know why they got up and ran behind her. Like, could she have some space, please? That's what I was thinking. But so she goes in there and locks the door. So then she goes, man, I can't believe this is happening to her. And Kelly's like, I know, right? And then Esperanza goes, she's not okay. She's going to say she is, but she's not. And Kelly's like, I know. And then so out of nowhere, when she's talking, Kelly's phone starts ringing. And she goes, Travis? And she goes, girl, it's fine. She goes, that says 39 missed calls. Like, what are you talking about? And so she starts playing the voicemails because she tells us, when she goes, why do I have to drag everything out of you, Kelly? Like, just tell me what's wrong, which I agree too. Like, come on, girl. So then she finally tells her, girl, he got aggressive with me last night. And she goes, girl, what? Like, how? She goes, he said he was mad at me for, sleeping with him. And then I'm over him. And she was like, well, did you do that? She was like, yeah, but that don't mean he could, grab me. And she's like, of course not. But I'm just saying. So, yeah. So then she starts playing the voicemails. And because she goes, well, how bad is it or something? Like, what else has been happening besides that? So she was like, girl, let me show you. Bam. Like, he's like, you're inconsiderate. You inconsiderate witch. I'm going to keep calling you. Oh, no, man, I'm so sorry. And this, that. And then he goes, I'm looking at a picture right now. And I'm fulfilling myself. And this, that, and the third. Sickening. We didn't hear that one last week. So I was like, Tyler, what the heck is this? PG-13, Tyler. PG-13. And then, so that was when Esperanza was the most spooked on that one, too, because that's the one that spooked me. I said, wait, is this the same show what is this? Anyway. So then she's like, Kelly, like, what the heck is this? She goes, did you hear him? She was like, yeah, girl. She was like, girl, he sound possessed. She said, I know, girl, don't he? She's like, you need to go file a police report. She's like, no, girl, I know him. She was like, you know him. This is the same dude that got engaged to a girl and didn't even tell you until later. Didn't really appreciate this Esperanza part because you need to be going ahead and dealing with Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Just get him to a rehab. Just, you know what I'm saying? So deal with that first. Appreciate how you try to help, but I don't like when I hear judgment in her voice. I don't like when I hear judgment in her voice. I don't like when I hear judgment in her voice. Anyway. So, yeah, girl, you need to get a police report. She goes, and then I appreciated this because she goes, trust me, I had some crazy men in my life, and I know when you need to go get you a police report. Okay, so she goes, okay, I'm going to go talk to Eddie, clowning. And Esperanza was like, stop joking around. I'm serious. I'm talking about the real police. And she goes, I know. I'm going to go, if this stuff don't end up acting right, I'm going to go down there. And she goes, girl, I would have never expected this from Travis. And she's like, I know. And then at one point she goes, what kind of SCX voodoo did you put on him? And she's like, Essie. She was like, all right. I know it's no time for jokes. I'm just saying. Okay. Okay. So then, wait a minute. And then she goes, oh, you said you wanted to speak to me. Because, yeah, she told Kelly earlier. She was like, I need to speak to you about something. But I'll talk to you a little later about it. So then she tries to bring it up. Esperanza's like, no, now's not the time. She goes, are you sure? She's like, yeah. So then we switch to Natalie and Lucian. They're at the hospital. And, he's holding their hand and stuff like that. They're just sitting there. And Joey's probation officer comes up. And I was surprised because Tyler, that's the same probation officer from the first season. So I was surprised, he was actually still there. So the probation officer comes in. And he's talking to Natalie. He's like, man, I heard about Joey, I hope he's like, what is he okay? She goes, we don't know. They haven't really told us anything. They're still stabilizing him. So then Lucian goes, and she goes, oh yeah, this is Hardy. This is the probation officer. He goes, what's your name? He said, it's Hardy. And Lucian was like, actually, can I talk to you over here for a minute? And so he pulls Hardy aside, and they're talking, and he says to Hardy, he's like, so do you really need to be here right now? And he's like, I'm sorry, but this is my job. He was like, I respect that, but he's in the hospital, so even if you wanted to take him, you couldn't. He was like, well, witnesses said he had a gun. He was like, witnesses, huh? He was like, listen, we don't even know if he's gonna make it through the night. So he was like, well, if he does, we're gonna need to take him. He was like, did you just hear what I said? We don't even know if he's making it through the night. And he was like, you know what, if you're gonna act like this, I'm just gonna go talk to Natalie. He's like, Natalie? He's like, yeah, Natalie. He was like, you're not gonna go say a dang thing to Natalie. He's like, if you got something to say, you gonna talk to me. He's like, matter of fact, he had a little pocket right here. That motherfucker said, here's my card. Call me if there's anything to do with Joey. And then I don't know if he was out of spite, because then after he said that, he's like, you're going to talk to me. He turns around, he goes, Natalie, I hope Joey pulls through. And I felt like it was more of a so I could take him to jail kind of thing. Wasn't really appreciative of that, because he was like, I have a job to do. And he was like, he is going with me. And he's going back to jail if he pulls through. And that's when Lucian got mad. Like, we just said we don't even know if he's making it through the night. And you two busy talking about arresting him right here on the spot. Man, bye. So, yeah, so then the Hardy leaves, and Lucian comes back over. And so she's like, what was he here for? And he goes, I don't know. And then so she's like, he want to take him back to jail, don't he? He was like, listen, let's just worry about Joey right now. And she was like, you know why he's here, right? He's not here for Joey. She's like, he calls me, several times out of the week or something like that. And he just flirts with me. And Lucian goes, really? And she's like, yeah, he ain't here for Joey. She was like, but he might be, because he might really actually want to take him to jail. And then so Lucian was like, it's okay, we're going to take care of everything. And he was like, I checked the gun. He was like, because then Natalie goes, well, he did have a gun. So, of course he wants to take him back to jail. So then Lucian goes, I checked the gun out, and it is registered under a Wayne Kim. She goes, so it is Mr. Kim's gun. And he was like, yeah. And so then he was like, apparently Quan had marked Fawn and knew that she carried 115 grand. No, he goes that she carried money on her, but she had 115 grand on her at the time. I said, dang. So she was like, what? Like, why would her father let her carry that much money around? And he was like, I don't know. Like, he just did. And then she goes, Tyler was doing something with this, because then she goes, all this time I was telling, I wanted to be telling Joey, if a cop stops you, don't run, just be calm and this, that, and the third. And she was like, we really need to be worried about these ignorant ass thugs in our neighborhood, not these fake ass cops and this, that, and the third. And he was like, why you gotta blame all the cops? There's some good ones out there and this, that. She was like, yeah, but why the bad ones gotta be in our neighborhood? And he was like, see, that's the problem. Everybody wants to just give all the attention to the bad cops. Like, what about us good ones? She was like, I see what you're saying, but this, that, and the third. And he was like, all right, just calm down. He was like, come here. They hugged, and then he's like, are you hungry? She was like, no. And so when we got that tenderness with them, then we switch out. Okay, so the gun was registered under Mr. Kim, and she had 115 grand. And remember, like I said, late, because I didn't even know, somebody did actually run up and snatch Fawn's purse. So then we switch to Ben. He's at the station again with another possibly gay kind of. Ain't no problem with it, y'all. I'm just saying, I don't really appreciate it. I don't just... Tyler, what are you hinting at? That's what it is. What are you hinting at? So then we switch to... Sorry. Then we switch to the police station. Julius is calling Ben. So he's like, hello? And then so Julius is like, why haven't you called me? So he looks, and he's like, how did you get this number? He's like, Ben. Like, come on, I'm Colombian cartel. So the man's like, yeah, I know not to ask that question. So... in a nip, he goes, you don't want no pure Colombian? He was like, I do, but, Eddie's been all over me. And he goes, all over you like a jealous girlfriend? And he was like, no, what? And then he goes, never mind, like, what are you saying? He was like, Eddie's out of control. If I'm not where I'm supposed to be, he freaks out. And then so he was like a jealous girlfriend. He said it again. He was like, what, man? No, like, Eddie is straight. He goes, oh, really? He was like, well, what about you? He goes, yeah, man, I got a girlfriend. Like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. And then, so he goes, can I be honest with you? He goes, I always liked honesty. And then so he goes, I'm not sure I should be talking to you. And he goes, Ben, you shouldn't be talking to me. He goes, yeah, I know, but I'm intrigued. How he said it, y'all, was a little sweet. Just a little sweet. sweet, just sugary. It was a little sugary. So then he goes, "Are you?" Because Julius is picking up on it. I feel like, and then, but I don't know if Julius is. Are you experimenting, Julius? What's happening here? So then he goes, not all officers have the privilege of me wanting to work with them or something like this. And so he goes, what do you mean? And he was like, I want you. And Ben was like, what do you mean you want me? And he was like, how do you think I mean? He was like, I don't know. He was like, I want you on my team. Again with this team. And then so Ben goes like, what does that mean that you want me on your team? He was like I want you. He was like, is that a big deal? And then Julius was like, yeah, that's a big deal. I could go get any other cop. He was like, but I want you. So then Eddie is coming out of the locker room because they're still on the phone. And so Eddie's like, who is that? Because he saw that he was kind of whispering a little bit, like in the cut kind of. And he was like, who is that? He was like, oh, that's just my girlfriend. And he was like, oh, yeah. And Julius is like, oh, I'm your girlfriend now? Kinky or something like that. And he was like, yeah, honey, I'll call you later. He was like, oh, honey? He was like, I don't know about you, Ben. And then Eddie was like, who is that? He was like, my girlfriend. Like, he ain't say it like that. He was like, my girlfriend. I'm like, it's my girlfriend. Dang, could you give me some space? So then he was like, get off the phone with that crack, HOE, and go get me some coffee. So he's like, all right, honey, I'll call you later. He's like, all right, you better call me, and then hang up the phone. So then he tries to go over there to the station and get him some coffee. And he's like, no, I can make that myself. You need to go down to the coffee shop and get me my low-fat vanilla latte. Really, Tyler? See, that's what makes me think he's not gay, because it's obvious at this point. Like, if you were to say Eddie's gay, oh, yep, he's gay. Okay, yeah. So I'm thinking he's not. I don't know. They all could be gay. Every single dude except, like I said, except Lucian. That's it. Nobody else gets that. You know what I mean? Nobody else. So then he was like, what? He was like, you heard me. Go get me my vanilla latte that I like and no whipped cream. So he was like, all right, man, I'm going. He was like, and give me my dry cleaner too. Like, while you at it. Like, and then he's like, all right, yes, sir. And then so he goes off. And Eddie's looking at him like suspiciously. That's why I'm saying, Ben, keep that on the low. Like, because you're being too suspicious about it. Next week, we see Julius and Ben are going to meet up. And I guess they're discussing getting rid of Eddie. We'll see. So then we switch to Kelly. And Diane, Terrell's mom, remember, her baby daddy who's in jail, is calling her and basically saying, look, if you don't want to talk to my son, you need to be straight up about it. And you know why he's there, right? And she's like, I know why he's there. She was like, good, don't forget, he took the fall for you because you should be in there so you could raise that nappy-headed ass son of yours. And she was like, Miss Louise, not Miss Louise. She goes, Miss Diane, I'm about to hang up. She was like, go ahead and hang up and watch her go down there to that bank and tell them folks what you did. So now I'm even more interested, like, on what was happening. And she goes, Miss Diane, she goes, are you threatening me? She goes, no, I'm not threatening you yet. She goes, but the next time my son calls, oh, you better talk to him. She goes, I'm hanging up. She goes, oh, don't talk to him and see what happens. And this is Vivian from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's good to see her, but I don't know, because her and Will was going through their little thing in real life. I don't know about her. She cool. I still got love for her as Vivian, but I'm over it. And then, yeah, she goes, don't talk about my son, because remember, she called him nappy-headed. And she was like, oh, you could talk about my son, but I can't talk about you. You could dog my son out, but I can't even talk about yours. And that's when she was like, I'm hanging up. So then we switch to Alex. Now, she's trying to get a ride, so she's trying to hitchhike. Now, this dude picks her up, and I thought he was a creep. Because usually truck drivers, you don't want to get no ride from a truck driver. I've seen too many movies to ever get in a car with a truck driver. I took my chances walking. So at first, he was reading like a creep. And so he's like, hop in. And he was like, you're a pretty girl. That's the first thing he said when she got in. And she was like, oh, thanks. She was like, I need to get to Dentonville. He's like, I'm not going quite that far. And this scene went kind of long. So I don't know what Tyler was doing with this. I don't know. Like, I guess it was the lead into the music that was playing. And to let us know how messed up of a town it is. Because even somebody who lives close to Dentonville, because I guess he didn't live there. And he couldn't take her there because he was a truck driver. He's like, I only have one day to make the delivery. And, I could lose my job and this, that. And he goes, I don't know why you're wandering around, a pretty girl like you. And he was like, oh, I'm not a pervert, because since she acted kind of weird when he said that. He was like, I got a daughter, and I've been married to my Peggy. Her wife's name is Peggy for 46 years. I was like, okay. That put me at ease. And then so he goes, but you shouldn't be around her. I sure wouldn't want my daughter out here by herself. All these creeps out here. And she was like, oh, I know. He was like, well, how do you know? She was like, I grew up here. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he goes, I'm not going quite as far as Dentonville. She was like, that's okay. Just go, take me as far as you can go. And she's like, could you go a little faster? And he's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to get a ticket. I can't get pulled over. And then so she's like, okay, just, try and get me there as fast as you can. And he goes, do you like Christian music? And she goes, sure. And he's like, well, let's listen to some. And then he turns it on, and it's just this music. It was like a soundtrack playing as the truck is, coming forward. It was a nice scene. So then we switch to Marcy. She's in the bathroom, and Esperanza's really trying to get out of there, and that was kind of getting my nerve. Kelly's telling her, girl, just give her a little bit of time, And Esperanza's like, honey, could you come out? Like, we're here for you. And kind of getting kind of mad. Like, girl, could you give her a little bit of time? So then Kelly told her, and she was like, all right, I get it, but, she didn't know we're here for her. She's like, I know, just give her a little bit of time in there, let her do what she needs to do. And, she was like, she's not okay, right? And she was like, yeah. And then Esperanza goes, the worst part of all this is that she's still in love with him. And Kelly goes, well, that's obvious. And Esperanza goes, no matter what you do, you just can't escape it. And Kelly goes, I know that's right. I feel like that was her saying she still got feelings for Travis, and that was definitely Esperanza saying she still got feelings for Eddie. So, what else is new? Because I feel like that's just out there. But, yeah. So, and as I said before, I wouldn't mind them getting back together. It would be very difficult at this point because of the degree of things that Eddie has done and the fact that he hasn't changed at all. So right now, definitely not. But if Tyler did a time jump of, 20 years and they were both in their 40s, 50s, 60s, that'll be fine. That's... Anyway... So, yeah, she goes, the worst part is she's still in love with him. And she goes, yeah, you just can't get away from it. And then Kelly goes, that what you wanted to talk to me about, man drama? And she goes, girl, no. She goes, then what is it? She's like, I didn't want to say nothing because now is a bad time, but Joey got shot. And she's like, what? And she's like, yeah, she's like, this night just keeps getting better and better. She's like, I know, right? And they're pretty much just talking about how effed up life has been to both of them right now. And just how, I can't believe this is happening. And she goes, Natalie was distraught. She's like, girl, you should have seen her. She was like, I can imagine. She was like, girl, I don't even want to imagine if that would have, like, something like that would have happened to me right now. And so she's like, but girl, Natalie's one of the strongest people I know, and I know she's going to pull through. So then Kelly goes, well, let me call her, right? She goes, no, girl, I think you should give her a little bit of time. I seen her. I left the hospital. She wasn't really doing too well. Just give her a little bit of time. She's like, okay, well, I'll just text her and let her know, I heard about it, and I'm wishing her well. And Esperanza goes, okay, but Lucian's there, so she goes, all right, then I'll call her later, make sure she's okay. And then she was like, how do you think Alex is feeling right now that the baby is gone? She was like, Brad is taking this way too far. And Esperanza's like, wait a minute, though, do we really think it's Brad? And she's like, girl, who else could it be? She was like, I don't know. She was like, but I'm saying, like, Brad, she was like, girl, remember he did threaten to run you over with his car. Remember when he got so mad because when he found out the baby was Randall's, they were in the parking lot. And they were talking, and then Esperanza kept trying to be like, this is not your fault, and, you need to go in there and see her. And he was like, I don't know how I'm going to explain this to anybody. And he's like, oh, yes, I will, because I'm going to have to explain to Eddie why I ran over his baby mother with the car, because she wouldn't shut up. And she looked so surprised with Brad. I'm never going to forget her expression. Just, oh, my gosh. So, anyway. So, yeah, she was like, yeah, girl, but running me over with a car is one thing, but to kidnap a baby, do we really think that's Brad? And she was like, girl... she was like, people snap, Esperanza. And she's like, I know, I'm a 911 operator. I know. She was like, but Brad. And she was like, girl, I think so. So then she was like, I'm praying for that baby too, because that baby is innocent. I hope nothing happens to the baby. And then she's like, we got to get her out of the bathroom. And it didn't. She just sat. So then we switched to Brad. Now he's trying to call Marcy. He calls her. She picks up the phone. She gets into, why are you calling me and this, that. And he's like, Marcy, now I understand why you hit me with a bottle. And she's like, he goes, Eddie called me and told me the cops are coming for me, that they think I took the baby, that they think I kidnapped Randall. And she's like, well, did you? And he's like, Marcy, are you really asking me that? Like, of course not. And she was like, well, why did you come up and grab me? He was like, Marcy. She was like, why did you? He was like, I was trying to kiss you. She was like, you were so rough. He goes, you like it rough. Didn't appreciate that. And she goes, you know what? I can't hear this right now. I gotta go. He was like, it's true. I was trying to kiss you. And then, so he's like, Marcy, do you really think I did this? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, Brad, did you kill him? Did you kill him? And he's like, Marcy, how many times do I have to say I didn't do anything? And he's like, I don't know what to do to make you believe me. If I said it wasn't me, then what? And Esperanza's like, Marcy, because she hears her talking to somebody. She goes, who's she talking to? And then they're like, I don't know, girl, but just give her time. She's like, all right. So then it goes back into the bathroom. And it's Brad. He's like, if you don't believe me, then there's nothing I could do. Like, I can't believe this. It's a knock on the door. He goes, who is this? He goes, Brad Montgomery? He goes, yeah, that's me. He goes, it's the police. So Marcy's still on the phone. She goes, goodbye, Brad. Like, you about to get your asses locked up pretty much. He goes, Marcy, please don't hang up. She hangs up. Bam, they get to the door. Steven comes in. He's like, oh, we just want to. And by the way, I want to go back and say, she was like, why was the mud under your shoe? Why did you have mud under your shoes? He's like, I thought we already talked about this. She was like, no. He was like, I was at Bandit Mountain. She goes, there's no red mud at Bandit Mountain. He goes, I walked across a new pavilion. They're doing some remodeling up there. And she was like, nah, or something like. She's like, I still don't believe you. So anyway, he goes up to the door and it's Steven. And he comes in. And so, what did he say? He goes, Bradley, we're here because Randall and Bradley David Montgomery, she actually did name the baby Bradley, are missing. And so he's like, oh, okay. So they come in and the cops are checking the rooms and he's kind of trying to keep Brad occupied. Like, oh, we're just here for questioning. And then so the cop goes into the one room. He goes, we found the boots. Like, this is really the thing. Like, everybody's about to come and jump on this dude. And then Steven goes, Brad Montgomery, you're under the arrest for the disappearance of Randall Holmes and Brad David Montgomery. And he goes, because he was like, for what? He was like, put your hands behind your back. He goes, for what? And then he goes, you're under the arrest for Brad David Montgomery and Randall Holmes. So, y'all, Tyler is definitely going in a different direction this season, because I never would have thought we would have seen the day that we got an interrogation room. Bradley is in an interrogation room next week, and Steven is going in on him. That's why I'm saying I think the Jedi could have been right about this personal vendetta that Steven might have against Brad, because, okay, he's a detective, so detectives are usually like that all up in your grill. So where were you? Oh, did you do it because she made you mad? Is that why you killed her? Like, they try to put things in your mouth, but you didn't even say that. So, but I think maybe something happened, but Brad don't remember him from somewhere. That's what I'm saying. Is he gay too? I don't know. I'm over it. A lover's quarrel, too. So yeah, this episode definitely delivered. I'm ready for next week. Eddie gonna be coming to the hospital. He's trying to come and see Pete, I bet you. And then he runs into Natalie and does the freaking mockery BS, I guess, whatever, he needs to die. And Lucian comes up and is like, yo, kill yourself. Pretty much, no, he didn't say that. But he tells him, you don't need to be, he's like, I just want to tell both of you, I'm going to be talking to Jesus. I can't. Tyler, do something. You know what I mean? Just do something. And then Brad says, he goes, if Randall is dead, he goes, I don't know who did it, but I'm glad if he's dead. Talk about Randall. Like, so I don't know. But this episode delivered. I'm ready for next week. Julius Ben and him are actually going to be talking. So we about to really see what's going on with this show. It's about to be on and popping, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all know the drill. I got to go to school tomorrow. I think I'm going to be doing shout-outs next week. Thanks to everybody who's been watching me. Thanks to all of my new subscribers. Thank you to anybody who's liked or ever disliked the video. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for all my commenters. It's your girl.